All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Smudcast number 691, the Japanese hero who outsold Kamen Rider and Marvel. And this is something I bring up very rarely as we talked over the years. And it's a show called Anpanman, which has been going on since the late 80s. And there's been multiple movies. There's been...
Anpan!
Yeah, it's so cool. There's been theme parks. There's been museums. There's all kinds of sing-along. There's just everything you can imagine for a preschool kids show, teaching kids right from wrong in the cutest possible way. Like, if you ever watched the original few, like they're 10-minute episodes. They're very short. If you ever watched the first originals, they have that 80s vibe, that 80s style, and the music is a trumpet. It's like da, ba, da, da, da. Like, it's so for kids. It's so simple, and all Anpanman is doing is fighting the evil forces of germs, and he's fighting this is it like a fly-like villain? He's got like his girlfriend, and they just want to turn everyone into a germ world. And Anpanman flies around and spins around them, turns them into a cyclone, and they fly away. But to defeat Biken Man, you just need soap. So he has to find some soap. And
Slight correction, Anpanman didn't start in the late 80s, but in 1973 until the author's death in 2013.
Oh, I meant the show.
What this thing says.
I have no idea about the manga, but I meant the show, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
been 40 years.
It's extremely big. It has hundreds, if not thousands, of episodes. I didn't look it up. I have no idea. But when I saw the catalog, because I saw the movies on Tubi, which is free. It's the dub from English. And it's not the greatest, but it works fine. If you have nothing better to do, it's free. But the Japanese stuff like that is just huge. It is so wild and crazy, and it's not like bonkers crazy, like when you watch. I was gonna say Pokemon, but that's not really that crazy either. Maybe the earlier ones are not crazy. Maybe it's later it gets weird, but it's the precursor for Pokemon. It's a precursor for all these other shows. And it's just fun. It's just a fun, cute kid show. You can't misinterpret it. It can't be seen as a bizarre teaching guide. It's him and his super friends who are all forms of bread and bakery, and they're fighting germs. And it's just fun. It's just there's thousands of characters. It's hard to follow, but they all have superpowers. And it's simple. So, and we've never heard of it because why would...
Smart, you underestimate the people we cover, their ability to deliberately misinterpret everything, even the most innocent things, into being gay Trump things.
Okay, maybe so. I don't know. It's one of those shows that if you have a kid or you're babysitting someone, they could watch it, they could sing along, and it's just fun. It's just a simple show. So I don't know what the direct inspiration for this was, but if you don't know what an onpan is, it's basically a steamed bun with red bean paste. So, and there's other versions of that in Japan. They've got all kinds of bakeries that do versions of French cuisine or French baking. So it's cute. It's like I think the theme is really family friendly, and everyone loves going to the bakery, especially when you're a kid. You get that fresh bread smell. And you see all the pastries. You don't know what that is. And it's beautiful. And I think sugar as a kid really drives you happy. It's like what that one thing you're looking out for is cakes and pies and fresh bread. But that's just me and my non-European self remembering what I liked when I was a kid. Anyway, this is going to be a short video. It's only 8 minutes and a half. And I think we're going to have a good time being amazed by the numbers that are the view counts and the popularity of Anpanman. Here we go.
Marvel. DC.
What?
Power Rangers?
Wait, what? We're using copyright music from Fire Emblem, Three Houses. Probably not a good idea, buddy, but okay. Here we keep going.
Why does game music kill our videos? Makes no sense.
If it was a little softer, I'd be okay, but I could clearly tell that's what that is.
The last one isn't as big as other superheroes, but I still think it's a recognizable name, at least in America. And also if you only count Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 2 in space. Yes, Power Rangers is still a thing, and it's really good. For the most part. So we all know the powerhouses that are Marvel and DC. mainly Marvel,
More
but we all know the
Marvel.
names like Iron Man, Spider-Man, Superman, and Batman, except those are all American creations, while superheroes are all around the world. Of course, Power Rangers gets its footage from Japanese Super Sentai, and before that, Kamen Rider dominated Japanese airwaves in 1971 and is still going strong, and Ultraman before it is a pop culture icon, even today. While American heroes are all popular around the world, Japan still embraces their own heroes too, as each of these franchises I mentioned pass their 50-year anniversaries with hit after hit, depending on who you ask, but hey, they're still making billions of dollars. You might know Toei for their animation studios and IPs, but they also handle Super Sentai and Kamen Rider, so yeah, they're making a bit more than $1. These billion-dollar names have legacies, they're moneymakers, and are even celebrated in America, but they're not Japan's biggest superhero franchise. To you and me, this will immediately come off as a wait, what? But yes, this man made of beans makes more money than Kamen Rider, Super Sentai, Ultraman, DC, and even the MCU. That's actually how this video came out. I was scrolling through Twitter and got a notification from my friend Mako, who said, Anpanman beat Marvel and DC to be the highest grossing superhero franchise. You can't make this up.
And you have to see this in perspective that Marvel and DC have a much larger home country population to make money from, as well as access to the West, while Anpanman is almost exclusively known in Japan.
Well, it's bigger than Hello Kitty, and Hello Kitty's known around the world. So
That's a big point.
yeah, it's depending on how it's marketed, because I think Disney wanted to buy it, because Disney's not stupid. They, this is the biggest thing on the block. Let's buy it. And they're like, no, this is ours. You can't buy it. So this has been exclusively Japanese. And if you
how's that compared to Dragon Ball?
Well, Dragon Ball is world known. Like it's been released because it's popular anime for young males. This is preschool stuff.
Goku more or less falls into the superhero category.
Well, I mean, the genre is superheroism, but the demographic is much different. So you can sell this in Japan, and it works so well in Japan. It will not work elsewhere very well. It can, and I've seen people know the dubs, and so some people know of Anpanman outside of Japan, but they've never actually officially allowed licensing. So it's hard. Is it a hard sell? Not really, but it still is going to be something that doesn't quite translate well to European, because Europe has amazing pâtissiers and bakeries, and they're like, what's a red bean bun? Like, what the hell is that? What's rice flour? Like, why would I use rice flour for my baking? So,
no, what I mean is Dragon Ball is unbelievably big in Latin America and South America.
Because
to the point that politicians make political ad campaigns with Dragon Ball characters.
Oh, fun. Well, again, this is a kids show. I'm talking preschool. So singing, dancing, learning your right from wrong, and that's it. It's very short. It's like 10 minutes long. So it's easy to produce. It's simple animation. It's easy to understand.
It's wholesome.
It is the definition of wholesome. It's a bunch of superheroes who are baked in an oven, and they come out with it's cute. It's funny, it's cute. And there's nothing like the guy on the left there, that's the villain. And Anpanman was born with him because he's a germ. So he's he's the evil germ who wants to, like, he builds like machines like Team Rocket in Pokemon to destroy the world or whatever. And he just
isn't that Dr. Robotnik?
Yeah.
Plankton?
You could say that Sonic was influenced by Anpanman for sure. Yeah. It's so, like, everything came from Anpanman. That's what I want to say in the 80s. And how did we get
even the Bible?
Well, maybe.
That was our other tweet showing that Anpanman beat out the MCU by $4 billion. On paper, that is an enormous amount. But keep in mind, this is their gross since they began. and the MCU made that much in 15 years, compared to
Yeah, but you have to also correct for inflation.
Well, the inflation of the 90s in Japan was a little different, and their economy's very interesting. It's a very different dynamic in Japan for money. They sort of blew up their money supply, and they reduced it, but they still have 1,000 yen for a coffee or 2,000 yen for a coffee. So it's a little different how you spend money there or how money works. But their economy is amazing. It is what they've done with technology, and their tech industry is a whole other world when you look at the markets. So
yeah, Giga Chat in the chat. I think they have translated the money into dollars.
Oh yeah, obviously.
Sheets.
Yeah, we're not talking 15 billion yen. That's not much. No.
15 billion
which
cents.
took 50 years. Still, it is funny to see this treat at the top. But now the question is, who exactly is this? Anpan is a sweet roll normally filled with red bean paste. Maybe you know another Japanese treat called taiyaki. It's shaped like a fish and also has red bean paste. I personally think they're both delicious once you get past the slight bean flavor, though I prefer...
Yeah, if you guys have never had, this is also...
What is wrong with you?
Also,
you have to make the bean paste right, and it is absolutely delicious.
Yeah.
What do you mean if you have to get past the bean taste?
It depends, because some people don't like the rice flour or the strongness of the flavor. This is usually...
Yeah, but that's not his complaint. His complaint is if you get past the bean taste of the bean paste. Hey, dude!
Well, it's like saying...
Red bean paste is amazing.
It's like saying, corn paste.
If you get shit, it tastes like shit.
Or beet paste. There's all kinds of fruits that people aren't used to that could be sweet, that they're just not had as a dessert. So that's not really a Japanese thing. You could see, in Japan, my brother just came back with his family from Japan 2 weeks ago, and he was taking photos of the Foyer Cafe in Square Enix. They just have this crazy, weird cafe you could buy food. And most of the food there had melon in it. There's melon shakes, there's melon bread, melon drinks. And they just cut a melon and put chocolate on top. It's what the hell? Yeah, it's a fun thing.
Do they have fried melon?
They have, it's just there's so much, there's sweet melon, there's honeysuckle melon, there's all just melon you would not believe, especially in summertime.
Melancholy.
Yeah, he showed me some photos on Sunday, and it was wow, there's a lot of fruit going on in Japan.
That's some more what he just said is, beer actually tastes pretty well once you get past the taste of the beer.
Yeah, well, as a kid, I can understand what he's saying. As an adult, I'm yeah, it's beer.
Oh, beer, okay, yeah, but red bean paste, the first time I had it, I loved it. It's awesome.
Were you a kid or were you an adult?
I was in my teens. Because the red bean paste is not native here.
Okay. Yeah, no, if you're a kid, it might be different because you're used to raspberry and strawberries or whatever fruity, simple.
No, I hated raspberries.
Well, it depends. Everyone has their own preference to fruit. And red bean is not for, you have to add sugar to make it sweeter. And it's not what you expect out of dessert. It's not a common fruit. It's a legume as far as I know. So... You gotta doctor it up, but as a dessert, it's simple, it's savory, it's got a little bit of sweetness. Mm-hmm. It's good. Anyway,
no, the only way you can buy it here is in the form of mochi.
Yeah, well,
you can't get any takoyaki here or anything like that.
Isn't that an ice cream dessert, or is that
mochi?
Yeah.
No, it's the rice paste balls that are filled with stuff.
Filled with stuff. Okay, I thought it was specifically.
It can be red bean paste. Can be. I have some. One with matcha. What was the other? The ones with sesame paste. They're pretty nice.
Okay, because I did find mochi at Costco years ago, and it was actually really good. It was ice cream though, and it's different. You have to get past the texture of the rice flour.
I can see if you don't like that, then yeah, but I like it.
Yeah, there's a texture it's sticky to your top of your mouth, and you have to chew. But other than that, it's a great dessert. Anyway,
taiyaki since more similar to a waffle cone. Much like everything else in Japan, Anpan got a mascot in the form of Anpanman. That's just the single sentence version. and kind of a lie. The real story is the rest of this video. The story goes that a man named Takashi Yanase would often think of Anpans during World War II, so he thought of this character and started writing him into his books around 1968. Funnily enough, the collection that Anpanman appeared in, 12 Pearls, was meant for a young adult audience, with Anpanman himself being a satire of the superhero genre. Then, Yanase made this character the main focus, being featured in several children's.
The thing itself that he came up with the character because during World War II he kept thinking of Anpans. It's just
Brilliant.
so innocent.
I want some bread that makes me happy. It's like, yes. Can you imagine a Belgian or a German going, I wish I had some beer. Let's write a story about it.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
Yeah, a guy like a superhero of beer. It's like, yeah, let's do that. That's a great idea.
Oh no.
I like that the title is written in hiragana, so little kids can read it.
Yeah.
It's cute.
Several anthologies before finally becoming serialized in 1973. You could say the idea came from combining one thing with another popular thing, since Kamen Rider V3 was airing at the time. But also keep in mind that works such as Astro Boy and Tetsujin 28 have been around since the 1960s. I'm actually a bit surprised Anpanman wasn't made until a decade later in 1973. Before this, Takashi Yanase was a well-known figurehead in the world of manga, to the point that his work inspired the likes of Osamu Tezuka. This led to him hiring Yanase for several works at Mushi Production. He also co-hosted Manga School, an educational TV show that taught children how to draw manga books. When Anpanman first started being published, this character became Yanase's flagship title. In this early stage, Anpanman perhaps had too much going on in its subtext, and stories would feature him mostly saving impoverished families, which was criticized for being a concept that preschoolers wouldn't understand. Constant reworking eventually made the Anpanman we know today, becoming the book series Sore Ike Anpanman. Although these books enjoyed relative success, it wouldn't be until 1988, when its anime first aired, that the floodgates opened. This little cartoon, which has been airing weekly since October 3rd, 1988, sparked a whole new craze in Japan's pop culture. Merchandise from toys, video games, to towels, to, well, Anpan, has maintained a consistent flow of revenue since then.
Oh, really?
Oh god, no.
Oh. Yep. There it is. My brother went there.
Across the water, the
Yeah, you can make bread. It's kind of fun. It's really cute. Kids love it. It's amazing.
A museum where you can make bread?
Yeah, it's brilliant. Teach a kid to make bread. Why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah, it's a good question. There are way too few people nowadays in the West who know how to bake bread.
Get flour, get water, smash it together. See how it turns out.
Basically, add a bit of yeast, maybe a bit salt, and that's you get the most basic bread possible.
It's great. Anyway.
Superheroes had a bit of a struggle during this time. The Superman film franchise had petered off into critical and eventually financial failures, while Batman in 1989 certainly kickstarted the modern-day blockbuster movie, also faced similar problems with its franchise. DC even had more.
Are you sure it was Batman? Not Blade?
The 89? Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, that's what
Yeah, 89
was Blade?
it's Batman. 99.
Really?
Oh, yeah, Blade was much
Yeah.
better. And don't even remember the second and third films. Those are, whoa.
Wow, 98.
Well, the
Man,
third Blade film had a Canadian in it, so no wonder you forgot about it.
I tried to ignore that. That was so nonsensical.
Try watching the third Blade film and don't start laughing your ass off.
No. They were all cheesy, but...
It was
I
so
thought
cheesy
Blade
he
was-
became Deadpool.
I thought Blade was 89. It looked like an 80s movie.
Blade was the
The
Marvel...
music is so 90s.
Yeah. It
I
was the
haven't seen it
superhero
in so long.
Marvel. It was the most recognized superhero Marvel film of the time. And
Not even MCU.
No.
I think that restarted the modern thing. Batman gave it this little resurgence, maybe.
Well, the first two, I think the first one for sure. The second one wasn't as popular, but still people went to go see it. And then after that, Schumacher did his thing. But with Blade, that was like, it was a small little film, made some profit. It was a good thing for Marvel. It was the goofiest thing you could think of with vampires. Because vampires, that's when Buffy was becoming a thing, I think.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what the time frame was.
Yeah, about that time.
About around there.
I think no, gone.
Okay.
Issues when trying to adapt their other superheroes. Remember Steel? That's a Maritoku, right?
I know what you can do to help. What? Anything. Don't tell Grandma.
I mean, if you made an honest Steel movie now, that would be much more interesting than all this bullshit race swapping MCU crap.
It's a bit tough when you look at the Death of Superman series. Steel is just one of like 4 other characters in there that fit together in that story. And just to take Steel, like they did eventually have it do his own thing, but it's really hard to introduce a character in that world without introducing the whole setting. And you got Superboy, who's like a clone from Superman, from Lex. You've got the cyborg Superman, which is his body but modified. Like there's too much going on. Like the Eradicator is his soul. It's like, what the hell is that? Like there's so much happening in that comic that's hard to describe. And to just have Steel is just like,
oh my god, that
boring.
Was Shaquille O'Neal? That was a Shaquille O'Neal movie?
Yes.
He was an executive producer.
He was perfect for the role, but the whole story was dumb. If they just focused on the Death of Superman and had these characters pop up, that might have worked a little more, because that's what the story was about. A little more properly, I would say. Would that be better? I don't know. It's a tough sell.
I don't think that movie even ran here.
Oh god, it's bad. It was so bad to watch.
It was horrible. I saw it on VHS. It's painful, but I would say it has more soul to it than most modern Marvel movies, at least.
Does it rank above or below Meteor Man?
It's way worse than Mirror Man. Like Mirror Man is a movie. This one is just something that like they had to probably make up for.
They had
licensing issues.
Pity.
Marvel had plenty of issues trying to get their foot in the door of merchandising. While they certainly dominated the Saturday morning cartoon front, trying to get toys out of them became its own problem, and the effects of Toy Biz pretty much continue to this day. Not only that, but James Cameron dropping out of the Spider-Man movie, the whole comic book bubble, that weird Roger Corman Fantastic Four film, all were factors that led to Marvel's bankruptcy, then X-Men, and Spider-Man, back to back.
Wait, which Fantastic Four movie does he mean? The one that wasn't released in the 90s?
The one that wasn't released in the 90s.
Yeah, but that was not even made to... That didn't cause any bankruptcy. That was just made to keep the license.
I think both films did not do so well. So
it couldn't do well. They didn't properly release it.
But
it was a more honest version.
Superhero blockbusters rose from this, and it led to the MCU starting in 2008, with yearly movies that turned into a monstrous 3 movies a year schedule. Possibly more if you consider Sony's Spider-Man films. And even Morbius. It's Morbin time. Okay, there's your obligatory reference out of the way. And even then, you can't stop Anpanman, especially when it prospered when both Marvel and DC were waning. As of this recording, it seems like superhero movies are dwindling down in revenue. Ant-Man Quantumania didn't break even in the box office. The Flash is pretty much a box office flop. And although Guardians Volume 3 is the second highest grossing movie so far this year, it
because
doesn't
they don't
come close
have any
to
bread.
What?
Because they are not baking bread, that's why.
Yeah, it must be that. It can't possibly have anything to do with the absolutely shitty writing of those movies.
And their theme songs are so bad. Like, listen to Anpanman.
Yeah, and then Guardians 3 is it's not top notch, but it's at least decent compared to all this other crap. So, that made money. I wonder why. maybe the MCU could still be going strong if they still had good writers, would make honest movies and not this ideological bullshit crap.
It is kind of funny when you compare shows that are made for preschoolers and kids, and the writers have to be super careful with what they do. It's like, okay, here's my audience. Here's what there's this whole load of things I can't say and can't do. I can just do this. And every time they do this, like if you see any, I don't know if you guys ever been on streaming services where you see the shows for kids, and I don't know if you ever watched them. I have, because I have, niece and nephew. It's like, oh, this is going to teach kids how to sing and learn about, I don't know, animals in the forest, whatever the case is. It's like, okay, great. And it's straightforward. And it goes, oh, this is a bear. This is a deer. Ba, 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 ba. And it's all fun and simple, and people can dance and sing. And you might think that's corny because it's for kids. Obviously, it's not for adults. But it's wholesome. And they know what wholesome means. And they never screw that up. And it's such a small budget, and it works. With Anpanman, it was a simple, quick animation, singing and dancing, fighting the bad guy, flying around, saving your friend, or saving someone who's got infected or whatever. It's
and that's where Mario Brothers. Yeah, and that's where Mario Brothers works. And what was it called? Strange Worlds or whatever? Doesn't.
Oh, the Marvel stuff, yeah.
No, I meant this. See, I already forgot the title of that other weird animation thing that Pixar did.
Oh.
That completely bombed.
Oh, I don't know.
So also some weird world's nonsense thing.
Well, what I'm saying is, even
it's so forgettable.
Writers of children's books or children's content are very, very limited to what they can do and how they can do it. So if you can have a clever idea that's wholesome, like bread, and turn that into a superhero, it is so understandable and relatable to kids who like, oh, I like sweet things. Like this could have been Strawberry Shortcake. We've had that in the 80s, at least, when I was a kid. And that was a show on TV. They could have kept going with that, but for whatever reason, they couldn't make toys, or they couldn't sell the toy, because that's what those shows like He-Man and G.I. Joe were designed to sell toys. That's where their money came from. So if they stop selling, they can't make any more shows. But they could have easily had a smart producer saying, no, we're going to keep making awesome shows for girls and boys about sweet treats and singing songs and doing right from wrong. And it would have kept going. But Japan has to prove this to us just by having passionate parents who like teaching their kids when they're away or when they're busy, and like, hey, here's a take an 8-minute break, watch a show, we'll have a glass of water, and then we'll go back to playing outside.
They just need to have more children.
Maybe that could be it.
There's lots of like Japan makes such wholesome, innocent children's content that even the things that barely have anything to teach, they still have some little things that are comprehensible, like don't jump off of the swing or something like that, because you could hurt yourself. You could hit your head at the railing around the sandbox.
I was going to say, someone in the chat mentioned Bluey. It's also a very popular show, and my niece and nephew, they're Chinese, so they have Mandarin. So they watch it in Mandarin, and I read the subtitles because they're learning Mandarin as they're going to school. So to have that shows that actually do have multilingual support and teaching, like they're going to be trilingual in another few years after they go through school, and they're young. This is amazing. Like it's these amazing tools for kids that are fun to watch. They're very well animated. They're not.
Yeah, until recently, Bluey went rainbow propaganda.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that episode. Okay, but so far I've been watching. It's fine.
Mario, which hey, I would kind of count as a superhero movie as a stretch, it is. But hey, it's there.
Humans.
So it might be too early to call, but Anpanman might just win this fight. When you start to notice this little guy all around Japan, you start to realize how important he is. Anpanman is a Japanese institution that will never stop itself from being an important part in their culture. Sure, you have Ultraman, Dragon Ball, or One Piece, which are all big spectacles that are easily identifiable to an international audience. But that's a kind of cultural export that people can relate back to the media they already watch. They're different, yet somewhat familiar. But Anpanman, for all his childlike wonder and lightheartedness, is exclusively for Japan. I don't see this little guy finding an international audience, but he doesn't need one. He's loved by all without having to be a big, brooding, and muscular hero.
Yeah, I mean, it's not expensive to make the stuff, but I think it is possible, but it will be hard to translate. So
First, Japan needs a marketing strategy, and that goes in phases. And the first phase is to introduce to the West Anpan, called Anpan, not translated. And once we all love Anpan as a dessert, then they can introduce Anpanman.
Well, they got other characters in there that do represent like croissants and this and that. So it's kind of cute. So I think it'll grow. Yeah, if they introduce it that way, where they say, "Hey, there's a fun Saturday morning cartoon character for kids," and they get the translation right. They get some good actors who can do the.
I'm sure if you translate it now, it will be criticizing capitalism.
The private baker who bakes bread and produces a superhero.
He does not give it to everyone.
Ovens. How am I supposed to do this?
He just charges money for it sometimes.
Oh no! Well,
he's stealing from the people by selling his baked goods.
If Pokemon can do it, if Sailor Moon can do it, a show for kids. Which, oh my God, kids need some wholesome shows. Outside of Bluey is a good show. I admit that's a good show so far. So
watch Suddenly Egypt Kami.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that before. Yeah.
That's so amazing. Can you pull up a title screen of that?
Just through the video on Watch Together, yes.
Oh wait, I'll look something up.
Yeah, we're almost done. We got 30 seconds left, so this is a great video.
Yeah. And honestly, I can't ask for a better candidate. He's cute. He fights for poor people, and he's making me hungry for some Anpan. And maybe I'll get an Anpan keychain too. Oh no, I'm starting to give Anpanman my money!
Video has reached completion. See you next time.
Okay, that's cool. That was okay. That was nice.
Oh my God, it's kind of creepy now. He just had 10 seconds of silence and he zoomed in. Like, what the hell?
Jump scare. Wow.
It's called a subtle joke.
Like, ah!
I think in this case it works.
All right. Anyway, are you going to show me something, Whisp, or we're going to go to Streamlabs?
Yeah. My browser just takes forever.
All right, well, let's get the Streamlabs. We'll get that at the end. Oh, that was quick. Wow. Okay, here we go. What do you have for us today? All right. What fashion companies try to sell men and what men want? I don't know.
Not wrong.
I don't know about.
Well, there's also what women want, what men are supposed to wear so that women find men attractive, and what men actually want to wear.
Men in jeans with blazers and a yellow top and is that a white or beige tie? I don't know about that. It's a little different, but okay.
Skinny jeans is just really killing it for me.
Yeah, you see the
there's
rips.
also a thing with I don't know what it's called in English. The pants that only cover half your thighs or just barely go to the knees. Okay. They look ridiculous on men, but women dig him. Women dig them.
Okay.
I don't know why. Probably because they like the calves or something.
Oh my God.
It's the reason why lederhosen are so big in Bavaria, because the women there admittedly love muscular calves.
I'm not sure what's going on here, but the Virgin Screen Room versus the Chad Rock Query? I don't know what that is.
I guess the background behind the character.
I guess?
Like literally that. I don't know.
Is that like a matte painting sort of deal, or it's just this weird giant?
I think it's just like those Japanese shows tend to like show rock query behind.
Oh, they all go to the same rock query.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a.
It's kind of like what they did in the 60s in America.
Well, that was going
Like
to
they
say.
go to the same rocks.
I was going to say Paramount with Star Trek. They have the matte painting with the stupid skybox nonsense. But yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Sentai shows they don't go to matte paintings. They just go to the rock quarry.
okay.
They go to location like a real cinematic masterpiece.
Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's maple beans. What the hell? What is?
I don't get that one.
I don't want to know.
Is that Maggie?
Oh, don't give her it. She could probably try for the advertisement if there is one. You can get chat. I'm superhero of beer, but I can only use my powers when I drive.
I believe you.
I'm a superhero.
I also believe in you.
As long as you don't drink the beer while you're driving, I think you're good.
Oh no.
Okay, what we got here? What is that? Beans?
That is baked beans.
Dear.
Also, you have to squeeze out the air first, you fucking idiot.
Or you'll die.
If you inject air bubbles into your artery or veins, then yeah, that's gonna be a short day.
That's great, baby. It's Bluey. Or the character from Bluey. There's Bluey. It's very well animated. It's very
How did I
simple.
mix that up with something else? Oh, I mixed that up with Blue's Clues.
Oh,
My
no,
bad.
no. That's totally different. That's something completely different, yeah. Bluey is good.
Yeah.
It's very well animated.
Yeah. So my browser isn't loading.
All right, we'll talk about it later. That's okay.
Oh, there it comes.
Anyway, that is a creepy ending video image. When it's like positive, not like, oh my god. It's like Super Mario right in your face. Like, ugh. Creeping me out there, buddy. Anyway, thank you.
Wait.
What? We're not done? What is up with your like 1980s computer there, not loading GeoCities properly?
It's just GeoCities would load fast. It's just these modern browsers. They're so full of bullshit everywhere.
Well,
There. Watch that anime.
is it in the Discord somewhere? I don't
It's
see
in
it.
the memes. Put it in the meme thing.
What's in the memes? Okay, great. There we go. Thank you, guys. Go to your memes. Check out whatever anime Whisp is referring to. There we go. Have fun. Anyway, that was really, I think that was our fastest one yet. Holy crap. Less than 40 minutes. Wow. We are kicking this out the door. So, that was Anime Monday. Thanks, guys. Great anime. If you got kids or are thinking of having kids, and well, I don't know if this is a good thing to introduce kids to because it's completely Japanese. They might confuse them. So, if you're Asian of any persuasion, give it a shot. I think you'll love it. And maybe your niece and nephew or your kids might. So, yeah, it's a great show. Anyway, thanks so much. Have yourself a great Monday. We'll talk to you real soon.